Alright, good afternoon. We're doing a video here on my $13,000 Porsche Cayman S. Did have high miles on it, about 117 when I got it. Had to ship to Hawaii, another $1,000 so I'm into it for 14. I do need to get new front tires, so I'll be into it for 14.5. So anyways, I got a 0420 coat on there, I believe. I'm going to double check again, but I'm going to go ahead and do the oil change. I'm going to take you through that step by step. Be the first time for me doing it in this particular Porsche. Got a great view here. Got my 02 Toyota Celica GTS. Tundra's in the back. Great view. Sunday afternoon. Good day for an oil change. Alright guys, so what I decided to do is just put my Cayman here up on ramps instead of jacking it up. That way I got both sides up a little easier. I did block the front tire just in case. The head under there with my 8mm socket. It's actually Allen socket. I also got a new magnetic oil drain plug with a new crush filter. Okay, so here's the tools I have. Typically you would want to have a 74mm 14-sided oil change wrench. I just have this adjustable one, so hopefully this will work. This is of course all they had in Hawaii. Hard to get stuff over here on the big island. It's got I got a new oil drain plug. It's magnetic, new crush washer. Got this strap wrench too if I have to use it, and a socket set, and of course my 8mm drain plug tool. Okay, so there is your drain plug there. It's 8mm Allen. Hook it up to your socket. There's the oil filter. I already put the strap on it, the strap oil filter remover, and it seemed to work just fine. It's a cloth one. Typically you'll want to get the 74mm that straps around over here. There'll be 14 sides, 74mm, but the cloth one seemed to work just fine. Okay, so I just kind of already broke the seal on it. Came up pretty easy. Of course I got my oil pan under here. Now make sure you got one that's gonna hold enough. I believe there's at least 8 quarts in there. Try and get this off without losing the plug. Of course you're gonna get some oil on your hands. Ooh, okay. Stuff's pretty dark. I think it was ready. It was warm. Make sure we drain all of that out. A lot of times what I'll do too is I'll run half a quart of fresh oil after this drains out, just to kind of get all the bad stuff out, if I can. Okay, it's still draining, and yeah, the oil was pretty dark. It wasn't the worst I've ever seen, but you know, as just buying this car, I wasn't sure when the last time they had done it, so I'm going to go ahead and change it. I had already loosened this with the filter strap, which actually worked real easy, just because I didn't have the 74 14-sided wrench, which is really what you want to use, but I already kind of loosened it. Of course, now I'm gonna have to loosen it a little bit more, but I can't video at the same time, so stand by. Okay, she's still leaking oil, and a lot of times what I like to do is pop off the oil lid. That'll give it a little more airflow. I did loosen this more with the strap. Should be able to get her by hand now. Again, you want to position your oil pan underneath so it catches both. Probably gonna get some oil on your hands, but probably not too much. This has an internal filter on it, which we'll change here shortly. Okay. Oh, okay. The filter kind of stayed up in there, so we'll pull that. That's the part you're gonna replace right there. And it's good just to take a note of how it's positioned in there. You can see on the inside there what's going on. I always check for any sludge and whatnot. We'll take a closer look at that here shortly. And probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some oil to the top side and let that drain through, some fresh oil. I just feel like it clears a little bit more of the old oil out, so you're not using any of the old stuff. Okay, here's the oil filter. It's the type with the external. You got to pull the interior filter out. This is the one that was in it. You can see it's pretty dirty. The letters were up, so I'm going to go ahead and put the letters up on this. There's no letters on this side, so that'll go down. Pop that in. I went ahead and cleaned that out with a paper towel. You can see that the oil that came out was pretty dark, so I think a good time to change it. We'll pop this in. You'll see it slides right onto like a nipple. And then also make sure you put this new oil gasket ring on the filter housing itself. Okay, one of the things I wanted to point out, I just put a little bit extra force on that to get that to where it sat flush inside the housing. You'll also notice, and again, I don't think it matters which way the filter goes in, I just always go with the same way that it came out, but they look exactly the same as far as the orientation. And you'll notice the O-ring there, it fits into a slot, not right on the base. And we're going to go ahead and screw that back on. But first I'm going to go ahead and put some Mobil 1 right in the oil fill spout. Some clean stuff while the plug is still open. And I know it's kind of a waste of Mobil 1, but I just feel like it cleans all the old oil out. And I just drain that right into the oil pan. It's expensive, but yeah, I think it helps clean it a little bit more. I don't think you need to do that. That's just what I do. Now it's draining the rest of the oil out. I just poured about half a quart of Mobil 1 in there, and it's coming out nice and clean, which I like to see. So we'll go ahead and drain that out. We'll put the new filter in. I did get a new magnetic oil drain plug, which we will put that in. I got that from Suncoast Porsche, just in case. I like to have that in case there's any metal shavings. Okay, just installed the new filter, the new magnetic drain plug. Technically, it's probably supposed to use a torque wrench, but I just did it by hand, and you don't want to overdo it, but you want to make sure it's real nice and snug. We're going to go ahead and add 8 quarts of Mobil 1 OW40. All right, next step is to add the oil. I put in about 8 quarts. It can be just a little under, so you can always check it. I go with the 0W40. Even says on there it's for Porsche, and even on that lid here, Mobil 1 is probably the best. So we're going to go ahead and go with that. Put the oil in, check the oil level, add if we need to. Careful not to spill it. I put a little towel there just in case. All right, so just added 8 quarts. I'm going to go ahead and check the oil. There's our oil measuring. Let's see if 8 quarts is right on the money. Well, let me start it up and run it. That might have been a little too much. You don't want to go too much. Engine oil pressure too low, I just said, but probably just changed it.